In life's journey, we must seek to reflect, learn, and grow. Welcome to the Road to Rediscovery with your host, Aubrey Johnson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Road to Rediscovery. I'm your host, Aubrey Johnson. The Road to Rediscovery is about reflecting on the lessons that life throws at us to learn and grow from them, and of course, pay it forward to uplift others who are struggling. My special guest is a Tony nominee, an Emmy-Award-Winning actress, singer, and recording artist. She starred in such awesome Broadway titles as Cats, Miss Saigon, The Three Musketeers, and a lot more. Her talents transcends to the concert and recording artist space, having released 6 solo albums and providing the singing voices of such Disney classics as Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, and a lot more. She's just released the holiday album, Comfort and Joy, an Acoustic Christmas with guitarist Peter Callaway. Her amazing journey continues, and I can't wait for you to hear her share her insights she's learned along the way. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Liz Callaway to the show. Hi, Liz. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Aubrey. I am so happy to be talking to you today. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, absolutely. We reciprocate. We're excited to have you on the show. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. So let's just go ahead and dive into this. Can you share with the listeners where you're originally from and what was life like for Liz growing up?
Well, I was originally born and raised in Chicago, except for 5 years of my childhood, I actually lived in New York, and then went back to Chicago. And I come from a pretty musical family. My mom was a singer and a voice teacher. My dad, he wasn't a professional singer, but he was a well-known television journalist in Chicago, and he loved to scat sing. And my sister, Ann Hampton Callaway, is an amazing singer and songwriter. And so I grew up in this very musical, arts-driven household, and I was incredibly shy. And I would never sing in front of anyone, but if my family left the house, I would, I'd sing with my hairbrushes and my microphone, and, along to like Broadway cast albums. And I knew I could sing, but I loved to sing when I was by myself, but I thought, oh no, I don't want to do that. Probably because my mom and my sister, did music. And it really wasn't until I was a sophomore in high school. I was 14 years old and my parents got divorced, which was a huge turning point for me in my life. It was devastating. But I was actually doing the chorus of a show, because I really hadn't done any theater or not even, chorus in school up until then. But I was kind of like dabbling, being in the chorus of this show, and I remember Anna Alvarez, the most popular girl in the theater department, came up to me and she said, I heard about your parents. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And would you like to hang out with me and my friends this weekend? And up till then, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I was really kind of a loner and just, and I was like, sure. And so they kind of just, in some ways, I felt like they saved me. Yeah. They just embraced me and were so friendly. And then I had this epiphany that, oh, wait a minute, if I do theater, I can have these friends and I can have this, this family feeling that I desperately needed at that time in my life. And so that was it. Then that changed everything. It's like, I want to do musical theater. I want to do Broadway. Not because I ever had any feeling of, oh, I want to be a star. I loved the community and the collaboration, and that's what I craved. And that's the most important thing to me still to this day. I love that. And then I kind of had to get over my shyness, which was really hard for me because I was just terrified of singing in front of people. I still get nervous, before I got on stage, but then once I'm on stage, I love it. So, but that was a really, out of something that was so difficult, it ultimately ended up being a gift for me, because I don't know if I ever would have found, maybe I would have found my way into what I think I was meant to do.
Right.
Um, you
Yeah.
know, I think God gave me a gift, but who, we don't always use our gifts,
No,
there's a
you're
lot of incredibly talented people in the
mhm.
world that no one has heard of, or that, and it's fine. It's great if you just to sing and for fun.
Right.
But fear was holding me back. And so I'm
Gotcha.
I'm happy that kind of gave me some courage.
Oh, in a big way. It sure did. And I love what you said about the community, the feeling of community that that was your driver in pursuing a career, or pursuing your interest in the Broadway performing and acting space. Um, and,
Absolutely.
and that's huge, because I was going to ask you first. Once you gravitated to this group, to this community, if that kind of helped push along, removing some of that shyness from you, or did it
Well,
take longer?
it took longer.
Okay.
I think I was a late bloomer. And
Okay.
I remember auditioning as soon as I decided this, then I
Hmm.
just like, then I was just obsessed. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I used to visit New York by myself for the
Hmm.
weekend. I don't know how my parents let me do this, but I would like go and I'd go get tickets at the half price booth and stay in a cheap hotel and have pizza
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
for each meal. I was very independent in that
Hmm.
sense. But I remember auditioning to go to college, to a musical theater conservatory at the University of Cincinnati. And
Yeah.
I sang at my audition, and then I went and threw up.
Did you really?
Yeah. And I just filmed a Christmas concert this week that's going to be streaming all over the place starting December 11th. And I was nervous. I still get nervous,
Wow.
but I'm not, I still think I'm shy, although a lot of people wouldn't think I'm shy,
Hmm. Hmm.
but deep down I am.
Hmm.
And again, as soon as I get going, then I love it. But sometimes before I go out on stage, I say to myself, why do I put myself through this? Why aren't I a travel agent?
I hear you. I hear you 100%, because um, I want to, if you can help just clarify for the listeners, um, with the shyness and the nervousness. Okay, I don't want them to get that confused with no confidence. Right? You had
Oh, yeah,
plenty
no,
of
that's a
confidence.
great point. That's a
Yeah.
great point. You know what's really funny is that when I was 8 years old,
Hmm.
and I have a vivid memory of thinking to myself, if everything else failed in my life, I could fall back on a singing career,
Hmm. Hmm.
which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like one of the
Well.
hardest professions. But
Yeah.
I knew, I knew I had a gift,
Right.
and I
Right.
knew that there was something different about me.
Hmm. Hmm.
And 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 I've always felt like I've never like fit a mold. And what I do a lot of master classes, and I talk to, uh, young people,
Yeah.
I say to them, you know what? It's actually good to be different. It's good to be unique and original,
Right.
and not to try to sound like someone else. And that's a hard lesson to learn. But even
Yeah.
though I was very, very shy,
Hmm.
I do think that I always had some kind of a confidence. My parents, I was incredibly lucky that my parents were very, very supportive, and not everyone is as fortunate. I think whatever I decided to do, if I wanted, they would have just thought,
Hmm.
I would do a great job at whatever I wanted to do. I never
Right.
was pressured into into doing anything that I didn't want to do, except piano lessons, which I quit when I shouldn't have.
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, just about every child with piano lessons, right?
Oh yeah, that's one of my biggest regrets, that I quit piano, especially during a pandemic
Yeah.
when you could
Yeah.
be playing for yourself.
It's funny. You mentioned the University of Cincinnati. I'm originally from Cincinnati.
That's right.
Yeah, 5 years ago, I moved to North Dallas from Cincinnati, but I've been and even kind of on a very smaller scale, obviously, performed and seen performances at the College Conservatory of Music. But yeah, the great program there, and the
It's a
people
great
there.
program. And actually, Aubrey, I was there one quarter.
Were you?
Yeah, and I didn't love it at first.
Okay, sure, yeah,
I, you know, I actually think that when I went to college, what I desperately needed was to kind of like reinvent myself,
yes,
which I think is such a great thing about college. And
yeah,
but when I discovered they had an incredible program, I told everyone I knew, everyone
hmm
at my high school, everyone. I mean, I told so many people. I worked at Marriott's Great America theme park while I was in high school. That was kind of I singing and dancing. It was a
yeah, yeah,
fantastic experience. And
nice,
then so many people I knew went to Cincinnati at the same time.
yeah,
And I went, oh. And so I didn't have that, I was like, oh boy. And then I got offered a job in California
hmm
to join a musical theater equity repertory company. I was 17 years old because I actually skipped seventh grade. So I was
okay,
17 years old.
hmm
I moved out to California with my parents' blessing. I thought it was a great opportunity, and the job fell through.
mm,
So I was like, okay, I'm 17. Here I am. And I worked at the theme park in California. And then my sister came to visit me, who is 3 years older, and she was about to leave college halfway through. She was at University of Illinois,
yeah,
and she said, "I'm moving to New York." I said, "Well, I'll move to New York. I'll go with you." So I was 18 and she was 21, and we moved to New York and had this, incredible adventures. I knew I had talent, but I knew I was really raw, and I
hmm
knew I
hmm
needed to work really hard. And I took classes, and I, auditioned for everything I could, and I got a job as a singing waitress. That was my
mm.
survival job. A horrible waitress, but I got to sing and to make up for it.
Oh, there you
You know,
go.
but
Yeah.
there's so many things that have happened in my life and in my career.
Mm,
If I didn't do this, if I
yeah.
turned right instead of left, if I've
Yeah.
had people, the kindness of other people,
Yeah.
um, taking a chance on me. I, I it's sometimes I kind of go, wow, we just don't know what might have happened.
Right.
So I feel
Right.
very, very blessed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have people who are kind enough to reach out to you, give you opportunities. To your point, they have trust enough to take a chance on you, right? And
Right.
and then you grab that by the horns, and you thrive. And then, of course, with that in mind, as you progress through your career, you're helping others who are on the rise, trying to establish themselves in that space by taking a chance with them, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Oh, nothing
okay.
makes me happier than helping out people. I
That's
really
wonderful.
truly believe that when we're doing something for others, whatever it is,
Hmm.
that is when, humanity is at its best, and that brings such happiness and joy
Yeah.
to be giving.
Yes, absolutely. And you bring up another very good point there, Liz, because I think with the craziness that's been going on in this world, right, with the pandemic and shelter in place and these shutdowns and everything, I mean, we as humans, there's a couple things that we are just that's just inherent within us, right? One of them is, just as you mentioned, it's inherent, within us to help others, right? To be of service to someone, to uplift them, if we see them going through a tough time, if we see them, trying to establish themselves, let's say in a space or in an industry that we may have had, some years or decades in, and give them some guidance because it was given to us by people who inherently wanted to help when we were starting out. So to me, that's one thing just willing to help and be of service, right? That's the
Mhm.
first thing. The second thing is, like you mentioned earlier, community, right? We are beings of interactivity, look and touch and feel and sight, right?
Right.
Just to interact that way. I mean, sure, we have virtual conferencing and we have, talking on the phones and things like that, but nothing quite replaces that face to face look and feel type of experience when you interact with another human being, and that is forever a part of who we are, and inherently as human beings.
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest challenges
Yeah,
that we've been going through with the pandemic is that,
yeah,
um, a lot of people, we haven't been able to have that,
no.
even just something as simple as, I think everyone who's in theater is
Hmm.
a hugger.
Yeah, I,
It
I
just,
kind of I kind of thought that as well.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just like, there's just something about just everyone hugs each other,
Mhm.
and I've just done certain things, I've had very limited amounts of experiences where
Mhm.
I've been with other people.
Mhm.
I just recorded this album and I got to work with this amazing guitarist. And for like 3 weeks, he lived 5 minutes from me. I actually got to work with another person,
Right.
not looking at my phone or my laptop, not
Yeah.
virtually.
Yeah.
And then I just did this concert and worked with the pianist and did this. And
Mhm.
I realized each time it's like, oh God, we've had this experience. I've never hugged them. And
Right. Right.
where you would at the end of a day, well, that was a great day, or that was,
Of
thanks for
course.
that show went really well, and oh, I'll
Yeah.
see you soon, hug. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh man,
Bring it
it's,
in. Yeah.
yeah, it's just,
Uh-huh.
but something that even though we're not able to see each other, I do feel that there is something that we are all going through. There is a connection that we have to people we might not ever have a connection with because of
Right.
this shared experience.
Right. Right.
I've said this to, and this is just, and when I've done some master classes or Zoom Q&As, or
Hmm.
I feel
Hmm.
so bad for students. I mean, I know your son just graduated, and it's just, I feel so bad for kids in school, and the teachers and the parents, of course.
Right.
But, you know, their experiences are so different. And for musical theater students who
Yes.
just graduated and there's nothing to do, there's nothing there. And I've said to them, what's interesting is you're the exact same level of all of us with experience. We're all in the same boat.
That's right.
And we all have to find ways of being creative, and we
Hmm.
all have to, we really will get through it together
Oh, for sure.
in
Yeah.
a way. And so there is something, when you look for silver linings,
Hmm.
I do feel that there is a global community. There's also a great deal of you know division as
Right.
well,
Yeah.
which is such a shame to me, because I feel like we are, this is something we are all experiencing. And but again, I tend to be, well, most of the time I tend to really look for the positive.
Yes.
That's just, when I sing a sad song, I
Hmm.
try to find the hope in a song. That's just who I am.
No, that's great. And I'm in lockstep with you, Liz, because I am a hopeless optimist. I've always proclaimed myself as a hopeless optimist. I'm always looking for the silver lining in just about any situation, not to be confused with being ignorant or oblivious to something that's real. I am, I'm quite real when it comes to there's something we have to face here. But at the same time, I'm also looking for that silver lining. So I'm right there. I'm right there with you, and I kind of wish the division that's around here is was not as much as it is. Those
Oh,
so
me
those are some
too.
challenges.
Me too. And it's just something we all have to work on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
something, as human beings, we are all the same,
yeah.
you
No, we are
know?
for sure.
And
Yeah.
we may have differences, but we're all the same. And it's heartbreaking to not be able to come together in a time that is,
Yeah.
is so difficult. But, you know, tomorrow's a new day,
Yeah.
and, you know, uh,
No.
you hope for the best, um and I have great hope for the future with young people. And I
Yes.
think I did a show on Broadway called Baby,
Hmm.
and I closed the first act every night. I played like a pregnant college student. I went through 9 months of pregnancy
Oh,
during the
wow.
show, and yeah,
Yeah.
it was an amazing role. And
Uh,
um, at the end of the first act, I sang a song when I felt my baby kick for the first time, and it was called "The Story Goes On."
hmm hmm
And it's about my mom felt this, my mother's mother felt this, and realizing that the story does go on. And I sang it recently, and it has a completely different meaning to me
hmm
now,
hmm
because I think if we think about what the people in the past, our ancestors, our parents, grandparents, great great grandparents, have been through incredible trials,
Yeah.
and they have, persevered. And
hmm
so I find that very hopeful.
Oh, that's awesome. No, that's awesome. And I saw when I was reading about you on your website, that you did perform in Baby, and so I was wondering how that experience went.
It was
Um,
a tremendous experience. In
yeah.
fact, as we're speaking tonight, it's like the anniversary of opening night. It was
Oh,
19 I was
nice.
really really young. It was 1983. December
Oh,
4th, 1983.
wow.
And uh yeah, and that's how I met my husband. My husband
Hmm.
was in the audience of the first preview, and he liked what he saw on stage, and he pursued me. And it was like, it was very persistent.
Yeah.
And that show
Yeah.
changed my life professionally and personally.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Very, very pivotal part of your life, and
yeah.
life defining, as far as the direction you go from that point. So, and we never know when those moments are going to come. We may anticipate a big event saying, "Oh yeah, this is going to be a great event. There's so many people coming. It commemorates this and it's going to be life changing." And then there's those that we may not re- give that much regard of being life changing. It may be, I don't know, a run of the mill performance that we've been doing, but it's that certain one that causes a lot of changes professionally and personally,
And
and
it's
this would
true. And
obviously
yeah.
sound like it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's also, you never know who you're going to meet.
Never
And I
know.
don't mean just I mean
Yeah.
personally, but also professionally.
Yeah.
I auditioned for another show, and that's how the director saw me
Hmm.
and thought of me for Baby. I've said to so many people to go to all these auditions. You never know. You may not get the job, or
Right.
but you never know who you're going to meet. Be a good human being. Be
Yes.
kind to the pianist who's
Hmm.
playing for you.
Hmm.
You don't, for the person who's outside taking names. They're they're all just they all have big dreams too, and you never know. Some the Probably my biggest animated movie I did, I'm most known for, is Anastasia.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
Stephen Flaherty, the composer of that movie, he used to play auditions. That was
Hmm.
his survival job when he moved to New York. And he went to Cincinnati, by the way.
Oh, did he? Okay. Yeah.
I think he graduated actually, but he went to
Uh-huh.
Cincinnati also.
Okay.
But again, you never know. It's just about, it's to me, it's just so important
Yeah.
to be a good human being and
Right.
be kind to other people. And I consider myself the anti-diva.
It's not about you, it's about everyone else.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, yeah, just plain, genuine, authentic human compassion. That's man, that's beautiful, Liz.
That's
It's
what
beautiful.
I try. That's what I
Yeah.
strive for.
Awesome. So let's talk about your new album, Comfort and Joy, an Acoustic Christmas. Wow, there's and I know this is cliche, but I truly believe there's something to be said about the purity of acoustic music. What inspired you to go the acoustic route? Because you had a previous holiday album or EP before, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. The first one was 5 songs. It was my first time producing uh,
Okay.
an album, and I've kind of discovered my son when he graduated college. He sort of, I don't know, he inspired me
Hmm.
to take on new things, and I kind of discovered an entrepreneurial side of myself I didn't know I had.
Wonderful.
And but I was kind of itching to just record a single. I've recorded some singles, and I did one this summer,
Hmm.
and I thought, oh, wouldn't it kind of be fun to do it with guitar? I like singing with guitar. I haven't done a whole lot of it,
Right. Right.
and I met this guitarist this summer on one of my walks who lives very close to me. I live about an hour north of Manhattan,
Okay.
and I kind of met him, and I'd heard about him for years.
Right.
And when I was thinking of doing a single, I always like to put queries up on social media and ask for song suggestions.
Yeah.
And there was this incredible outpouring of suggestion. Record this, record this. Oh, what about this song? People would do like 8 songs. I mean, I probably had over 1,000 songs that people suggested.
A lot of
And I was like,
suggestions. Yeah.
wow, it was awesome. I think this was October.
Hmm.
Usually Christmas albums are
Right.
recorded well before the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I sent a Facebook message to this guitarist who I'd met once for 5 minutes,
Hmm.
and I said, how would you feel if we like got together and jammed, maybe, and we could maybe record a song.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we got together, socially distanced, and I
Hmm.
went through a bunch of songs with him, and I recorded them on my phone, and I listened when I got home. I was in front of a fire, and I went, oh my God, there was something about the purity of these songs with just guitar. And
Right.
I thought, oh my God. And I had this feeling. Next day I said to my husband, I wish I could just record a whole album. And he said, do it. And I realized I wanted to give warmth.
Yes.
I wanted,
Yes.
this sounds ridiculous, but it's almost like I wanted this album to feel like like a cozy fire for people who didn't have a fireplace.
Like a blanket,
Yeah,
just
just
envelops you. Yeah.
something. Yeah, and it and I Peter, who has a recording studio at his house,
Hmm.
a 5 minute walk from me, and he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Can you do this in 3 weeks?" And he's like, Sure." And it was very intense, but it was amazing. I thought of this as a gift for other people, but
Yes.
honestly, the experience of working on this, something so and very different for me. I just
Yeah.
felt, I don't know, it was a gift to myself.
Mm.
And now it's out there in the world, and the reaction that people are having is just tremendous. It's just, I think it struck a chord with people because it's suddenly songs that you've heard a million times. They have a
Right.
different meaning, everything under the lens of what we've been going through this year.
Yeah.
And so I'm just delighted. I'm just delighted that it's out there, and I'm proud of myself for making something that's out
Yeah.
of. I mean, it was crazy to be producing and recording a
Three
Christmas
weeks.
album.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 3 weeks, starting in October during
Uh-huh.
a pandemic. But I do feel with so many of the projects I've had, all I wanted to do was something nice,
Yes.
and when your motives are pure, when you want to give something, as
Mhm.
opposed to, never even crossed my mind. I didn't think about anyone buying it. I just thought about them hearing it.
Right, right.
And that's sort of, and so it was just so nice to be doing something that was fun and creative and knowing and just having a feeling that this would make people happy. And
I
so
got you.
far, I think I'm just, today is actually the official release date. I know we're recording this, but, and it's just, woke up all excited. I was like, oh my God, it's out. I saw it on Spotify, and it was like, oh, it's really real.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, hey, it's today, December 4th. Or is today? No,
Yeah,
today's the
today's
3rd.
the 4th.
Oh,
Yeah.
the 4th. Okay. Yeah. I knew I had getting days mixed up. But
Oh
yes.
my, that's been me for 9 months. No idea what day it
No
is.
idea, right? They just kind of blur into each
Oh,
other,
they sure do.
Yeah. So December 4th, the release of Comfort and Joy and Acoustic Christmas. Oh, I have to commend you and Peter for the magic behind this. Okay. I've heard maybe 3 tracks, but um one thing, and you put it in great context when you said, through the lens of everything that's been going on here, in this country, in the world, with the pandemic, social injustice, and so forth, all year, um, having an acoustic holiday album, track after track, in my mind, okay, in my mind's eye, especially as I heard the first track, "Merry Christmas, Darling," that I heard from this. To me, it just seemed to quiet all the noise that
Oh,
I've heard through the years, right? Or not years, sorry, through this year, through the months. The things you hear in political ads, the things you hear on local and national news, the things you hear about the latest pandemic numbers of cases discovered and casualties or deaths that has happened, reaching grim milestones. All that noise of the year was just quieted when I heard this acoustically, and so
mm.
I just want to thank you for that
Oh, well,
because
thank you so much, Aubrey, because it's so funny. It's just like I think even before, I don't know, maybe even in the fall, I don't know, I had this thought about
Mhm.
what if I just did something with an album with guitar? I think I don't even know when I thought that, but I just had an instinct the gentleness of it,
Yeah,
there's something, and it was challenging because it was so exposed to sing
right.
with guitar. I mean, it's so fun, but
Hmm.
it's also like, oh boy, you know, it, it's, it's not as easy to sing 9 months into this as it
No,
used to be.
right,
Singing
right.
used to be a lot more effortless, and it's just,
Hmm.
you know, life has taken its toll on all of
Sure,
us.
sure, yeah.
And but just going, okay, this just that makes me so happy. A friend of mine listened to it, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so happy it's acoustic and it's not in your face, and
Right.
and it's just like because we're not feeling that right now.
No, not at this point. No.
We all desperately need self-care
Yeah.
and to take care of each other, but we also have to take care of ourselves. And I think there is something that I'm so happy that you felt that way, because that's just what I want. I just want people to put it on and
Yeah.
feel like I'm a nice soft hug.
Oh, for sure, for sure, and I believe you've met your objective in scores with
Mm.
this project. So, I really appreciate that. So, Liz, how can our listeners learn more about you and maybe even pick up a copy of this your new holiday album?
Oh, well, you can go to my website, lizcallaway.com, and
Okay.
there's all kinds of stuff there. You can get the album there if you want, like if you still have a CD player. Actually,
Yeah.
which is surprising me that actually a lot of people like CDs at Christmas time. But it's
Yes.
it's on Spotify, it's on you can download it, it's everywhere. And another project of mine during this time is you check out my YouTube channel. I've spent
I will.
That's sort of a place I try to be creative.
Hmm.
I have a series on YouTube called Auto Tunes where for years I've practiced in my car.
Hmm.
I just sing in my car, and then
Hmm.
I suddenly started filming some of my rehearsals. So it's just me driving and singing, and just
Nice.
and a lot of people find that actually very kind of relaxing and comforting
Yeah.
and stuff. So I'm trying to, and shooting videos at home and just trying to have fun and give a place for people to go until we can safely, until I can safely perform
Right.
in person. I
Right.
desperately miss traveling and I love going and doing concerts and shows and meeting people around the country. So until then, that's sort of where you can find me.
Okay. No, that's great. Thank you for sharing that, because we will definitely make sure that we include direct links to your website, lizcallaway.com, in the episode show notes. So,
Oh, thank you for
that's
that.
something. Oh, absolutely. The listeners can directly contact you, or learn more about you on your website and get a copy of the album there. So,
Yes,
oh,
and on social
uh-huh.
media, I love, to interact with people on social media too. So that's all on my website also.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. I mean,
You can give me song suggestions
yeah, yeah,
for
throw
my
some
next
suggestions
crazy
out there for the
endeavor.
next project, right?
Exactly.
Oh, that is so awesome. Liz, I have really, really thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I mean, you're just a joy to chat with. You really are. And I hope we can get together and chat, again on some upcoming projects that you're
Yes,
working
absolutely.
on. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Well, now we're about to hit a segment I like to call Three for the Road, Liz.
Oh boy.
And Three for the Road, this is where I challenge my guests by asking them three random yet thought-provoking questions. I try to encourage them to answer in 5 words or less. So what do you think? You think you're up for it?
I'll try. As you can see, I like to talk a lot. This will be a very good discipline for me.
Oh, I think you will pass with flying colors. And by the way, none of these questions are like cookie cutter. They're actually custom based on the background and the profession of the
Okay.
guest. Yeah, and if you happen to fall into a profound, um, prolific type vibe of explaining your answer and it's more than 5 words, I just let you go.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
you can go ahead and let
Okay.
that ride. All right. So Three for the Road. Here we go. Question number 1. Now, from what I understand, you've met and sung with the likes of Johnny Mathis, Burt Bacharach, Dionne Warwick, and a lot more. Can you name one of these artists, either the ones I named or someone else, who you think would have been fun to act and perform with on Broadway?
Oh. Oh boy. Oh God. You can edit this, right? There's no time limit.
No, we could edit it. Yeah, I
That it would be
mean,
fun to act on Broadway with. Oh boy. Um,
and we can always come back to this too. So
yeah,
don't.
no, that's a good question because I'm thinking of the people you listed. I don't know if I would say that they would be Broadway people,
Right.
but
But some
uh,
people, personality wise, I mean, even if they're just a vocalist, some people have that personality where someone in Broadway would think, wonder why they're not in Broadway or
mm,
in a play. Not everyone,
well,
though. You're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to that one. It's
Okay.
going
Okay.
well.
Awesome. Okay. We'll come back to that one. Well, numbers 2 and 3, I kind of think you won't have a problem with at all, because in our conversation earlier, you kind of alluded to one of these. Okay. So here's question number 2. What do you tell yourself just before the start of a big musical or concert performance?
uh, well, what I said earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
nothing to prove, only to share.
Love it.
That's my
Love it.
motto.
Yes, that's a great motto. That's a great motto. Fantastic. Number 3. What do you tell yourself at the end of a big musical or concert performance?
Happy dance.
Happy dance.
Accompanied by a little leap.
Okay.
Seriously. I
Happy
do
dance
a
with a
happy
leap.
dance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and rightfully so, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah. You put in a lot of work, so you have every right to have a celebratory happy dance with the leap. Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Well, that's 2 and 3. We'll come back to 1 now.
Okay.
And again, singing with the likes of Johnny Mathis, Burt Bacharach, Dionne Warwick, and more, recording artists. Name one artist that you feel would have been fun to act or perform with on Broadway.
Well, I'm going to say Johnny Mathis.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say Johnny Mathis, even though Johnny Mathis, 2 words.
Okay.
And I'll but I'm thinking of it as a concert on Broadway.
Okay, sure.
Because so than playing opposite in a play, but just he's such I think, fill the seats. He would fill the seats with people wanting to, and to share the stage with him. I'm sure I'm going to think of other people. That's such a good question. And so, but you kind of stumped me.
Oh, well, you had an answer for it, so that's good. And
I know I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and go, I should have
said this person. Yeah. Well, if we make a sequel episode where we catch up on some new and updated work that you're on, and someone comes to mind, you can feel free to share it then as well.
I will.
Fantastic. Liz, you've done such a great job on 3 for the Road. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for having this show. I think it's just you are doing a service to a lot of people. I think it's just very moving what you're doing, and it's been a real pleasure to speak with you and get to know you a little bit. And I hope we can do it again. I hope I can meet you in person someday.
And I truly, it's truly likewise for me as well. Liz, you are so kind. Thank you for those kind words. And I hope we can connect and see each other sometime in the near future as well. Hopefully on the other side of this pandemic and everything that's going on. So thank you once again for those kind words. We're going to make sure that we have direct links to Liz's website on the episode show notes, and on your website, Liz, the listeners can also access a copy of Comfort and Joy, an Acoustic Christmas. Is that right?
That's right.
All right. Fantastic. All right. So Liz, it's been so fun having you on the show.
Well, it's been so fun being on the show, and I'm wishing you and your family and all your loved ones and everyone who's listening, I wish everyone happy, safe holidays.
Thank you so much, Liz. And I wish you the best of holiday seasons as well, and prosperity and good health in the coming new year. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in and listening. Now, if you want an exclusive early notification of upcoming guests before their episode releases, I invite you to join our mailing list at www.roadtorediscovery.com. That's rediscovery.com. All right. We're all roadies on this journey of life, and it sure feels good having you on the road with me. Thanks again for listening. We'll chat again soon.